There is massive fatigue when it comes to coming up with ideas. We feel like we're constantly trying to come up with ideas and we're getting really tired. It's not just about like having a plan or having a schedule, because that exists. It's about how can we support social media managers and creators in holding all that data so they can make clearer decisions around their brand, around what's working for them and around what's working in their niche and what their audience is looking for. So we're adding a new feature today, and this one's pretty exciting. I feel like this one can be what could really support creators, social media managers in building out ideas, because there's like this thing at the moment that I'm seeing where like lots of people are talking about, you know, the idea fatigue. And something with AI, as amazing as it is, especially if like you're using Claude to generate ideas, you constantly have to fill it with your context. And yes, you can create a project, and yes, you can like connect things. But the way that I really wanted this to work was that it's kind of like the data's always filtering in the background, right? It's looking at your brand, it's looking at what you offer, it's looking at the voice that you use, the audience that you have, it's scraping. So scraping is like just collecting all the comments from your niche and who you've decided have like similar audiences. It's getting all that information. And then the idea is I want all of that information in the back to be filtered so that when it recommends posts or suggestions for posts, and it looks at everything. So it looks at what's done well for you, what's doing well in your niche, and then also looks at your brand and what you actually offer. It offers really like, you know, posts that you're like, yes, I could do this. And I think that's where AI is powerful. So let's talk about the new feature that's coming to Content Flow that I am fixing today that I think will be game changing for content creators and for social media managers. So I feel like something that I'm seeing in all the work that I'm doing is that there is massive fatigue when it comes to coming up with ideas. We feel like we're constantly trying to come up with ideas and we're getting really tired. And so something that I wanted to do was have in Content Flow this amazing intelligence system underlying the software. So it's not just about like having a plan or having a schedule, because that exists. It's about how can we support social media managers and creators in holding all that data so they can make clearer decisions around their brand, around what's working for them and around what's working in their niche and what their audience is looking for. So in this one today, we have this feature, and I'll show you the screen, like pop it up, but we have this feature that's an idea inspiration board. Like you can put in a post that you see that you like. You're like, hey, I could use this for my own idea, right? Post it there. Then we want the AI to suggest how you can turn this post into something that works for you. And the reason that I wanted this to be really specific is I didn't want it to be just like, hey, like generic. I wanted it to know your brand. We want it to know what your audience is saying. We want to know what you've been saying in your work, in your planners and your posts. And then we want to know what this post is actually saying and how we can use that to get inspiration for our own posts. So this is a feature I'm building out today because I've realized that there was a couple of problems that I was having. The AI wasn't reading the carousel posts. So if I was like, hey, let's use this carousel and help me find inspiration from it to create an idea, it would give me really generic ideas. And I'm like, no, this is not something I could use. So that was the first problem. Then the second problem is when we open the planner, I want it to be like, hey, this is a great idea, let's do this. And then when we open the planner, it wasn't actually giving the idea, like it wasn't using that idea. So this is what we're doing today. We're working on a feature where you can go in, you can add a post of like a post that you've seen that you love. You're like, this person did a great job. And then this AI is going to look at your brand, what your audience is saying, what's happening in your niche with other content creators and your analytics. And it's going to go, hey, let's think about all these things. Let's consider all these things. And then let's create ideas from that knowledge. And the best part is, guys, it updates. So I should screen that because it's exciting. So it's going to look at all your fresh posts. It's going to look at recent posts from creators, but also like make sure that they're ones that have done well, right? And this is all the things that have taken me months to factor in because I wanted something that was highly intelligent on our brand. I didn't want it to just know like analytics, or I didn't want it to just know. And the thing is, that is, I feel like the challenge with tools at the moment. It's literally everywhere. I feel like we're going one place to schedule, one place to plan, one place to do analytics. Like, it's just overwhelming. And this is what we are not doing in Content Flow. We don't do overwhelm, we don't do chaos, we do planned systems that are intelligent. And that is what we're doing right here today. So I'm gonna give you an exact example of what I'm talking about. So this is a post of someone that I was like, okay, let's test this. This person is still my client strategy process, right? And she's got how she talks about that and everything in the picture, right? So what it does is it gives me this little, now don't look at the UI guys, because I'm fixing this at the moment and I'm coding at the same time. So this gives a little like why this idea. So it talks about the hook, what they do, and then it talks about what's actually going on. And then it actually talks about how we can use this idea. So you can see here, fits because Content Flow's AI intelligent layer is grounded in brand strategy, depth, voice. The idea reinforces that clarity in planning makes everything downstream easier, right? Great, amazing. Now I'm working on this right now, so bear with me. And then when you click this, right, and you say which brand, so you can actually decide which brand you want to use it for, because this is built for social media managers as well. So you can have multiple brands. It'll say that, it'll save the inspiration. Now what it's doing in the background is it's actually looking at all the slides. It's seeing what those slides are saying, and then it's going to use that in the context to help us determine how we can use this post ourselves. And again, this is not about copying other people's posts. It's about understanding, like, I think it's about idea generation, right? Sometimes these posts, like, I don't talk about, like, I am not a social media manager. So the idea is here, look, it's actually turned into what goes into a content system. It's more than a calendar, right? And this actually talks about the pillars. It actually talks about Frazzled Freya is actually the audience that I have like named my key person, like my key audience. And it talks about the challenges that she's having, and then it'll say why, what we're gonna do here, right? And yeah, so it breaks it into an idea, gives it like a high fit carousel, recommends what this would be good as, but usually just goes off what it already is. And then what's gonna happen is we can click use this idea. And when we click use this idea, look at this, guys. The AI knows that we are using this, and this is something I'm fixing at the moment because it should use the information that it gave you and the suggestion it gave you, and then you're gonna talk it through and it's gonna create the slides here with you. So it'll always ask you whether you want it to like create with you, like ask you questions, or whether you wanna do it yourself. So that's just something that we're working on today. I'm finding this feature really frustrating and I'm feeling really overwhelmed because if you look at my kitchen, it's full of dishes. I've got so much to do, and at the same time, I feel really overwhelmed because I can't get this to work. Literally the other day, it took me over a day to figure out like a really important bug where like the AI was just returning an empty bubble. And by the way, guys, I am not a developer. So this has been really fun to build, but there are times where I'm like, oh my gosh, it takes me like a day to build out a feature because it's just not working. And like I've told the AI multiple times, like you need to be reading what the carousel is saying. You can't just like use the caption to determine a post or use it as an inspiration without actually knowing what it's doing well, like without knowing the content, right? So this is where I'm having issues at the moment, and you'll see, like I'm really trying to figure it out. It's just one of those days where lately I feel like the bugs have been hectic, and trying to figure out how to get things to work has been exhausting. And that's where when people are like, AI is gonna take over. Guys, it still takes a minute to create things and to really figure out the flow of the information and be really clear on the context and what you want AI to do. And I think that's really, it's always in the prompting, but even then it doesn't always like get it right. At the end of the day, it's still like a bunch of data that it's trying to figure out. Let's see if we can get this done today, guys, because I have to pick up all the kids at 2:30. And I don't like to end the day without finishing a feature because I only get 3 days to get this work done. And otherwise it becomes, I find myself getting really distracted in my parenting. So let's see if we can do it today. It worked. All right, I'm gonna actually show you what I've done here. Let's turn this around. Okay, so as you can see, I have an inspiration post, right? It's given me the title, so it's created a title based on what I've had, and now it's actually showing me, like I wanted to test it. Can you break down what this person's slides say? And it's actually shown me. Because the idea is here, like we can love a post and be like, this would be so great for our content, but it can be really time consuming to try and like figure it all out. So this helps us just figure out that angle for posts that we love. And like, I really want to show you this. look at this. It says, let's run with this. Here's the play for your version, mirroring the same setup, payoff, rhythm, grounded in content flows, one tab. So it knows what I do, knows the product, and it also knows the audience that I'm going for. So that's the coding that we've been working on here, right? How I run my 7 client, okay, the only thing is I will have to adjust this because I don't run a 7 client business, but it could be like how you could run a 7 client business from one tab. So I will, like, for example, let's actually chuck this in, right? So what this is gonna do now is it's gonna adjust it for me, because if you actually look here, for example, it actually tells you about the workboard. That's an actual feature from Content Flow. And look at this, it actually asked me, good catch. This is her story, not yours. You're the guy. Let me reframe every slide to that. And then it checks things. Do you want me to draft the full structure, or is there anything else about a situation you want to bake in first? So the way that we did this was to make sure that we actually focused on the product asking questions, right? And the reason that we're doing that is because we want the creator to be part of this process. This Content Flow is not about getting, and this is the thing, like, we're not from the vibe of like AI does all the writing. The authenticity, the creativity that you have is the most important thing that we want to keep, right? So this is about asking questions, guiding us through the process, looking at what the post has that we liked, how we can use it. It kind of does that extra thinking, and then you can adjust it as you go. Like, for example, I had this idea that's coming out tomorrow about like a cowgirl sort of post, like there's a new tool in town, right? And so I wrote that and told it the idea, and it was like, great, let's adjust it. Let's think of the audience. Like, it knows everything about my audience, both because of what I put in, but also because of what we actually filter through all the comments, guys. It actually scrapes social media to get to know your audience. So this is why I'm so happy with this. And this is why, like, literally, if you told me 5 years ago that I would be creating this, I would not have believed you. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a thing about the features today. I feel like building something out has been so much fun, but so challenging at the same time. And I'm so glad that I got this feature done for today, because now I can actually get through my day. I know I can get through my day anyways, but now I feel like I can actually get through it and not stress so much, because it just bothers me when things don't work. That bug, that 24-hour bug, was a killer. And this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's not working. And after all that, there was a limit on how many tokens it could use to produce the answer, and that was the problem. So it took a while for it to figure it out. But we got there, guys. We're creating, we're building, and we're figuring it out. So do you want to know why I'm like so pro AI when it comes to building and things? I feel like number one, it's just lowered the barrier to entry. And keyword there, guys, entry, because we're not saying that we're building unicorns with Claude code, and unicorns being like, you know, multi-million-dollar software companies. We are saying that we can build and test an idea for less than what we could, right? Now, the second barrier of entry, like, don't mind me as I'm just cleaning. The second thing I think that's lowered the barrier of entry is, well, two and three, skills and time. So obviously we don't need the time to develop the same skill set to build an idea than we would have 10 years ago, right? But another thing is, it no longer takes the same amount of time to actually build out the idea. So being a mum, this has been absolutely game-changing for me, because I have been able to literally write a couple of features down, let it code, go back to my kids, check in on it through the day, see what it said, keep going. Obviously, I can't do bug fixes and stuff when I have the kids, but it's definitely made it like so much easier for someone like myself with kids to actually, you know, create something where, like, again, without AI, that wouldn't have been possible, because obviously you'd have to be there coding it. So I do want to say that while there's lots of discussion around, you know, what AI is going to do to us in the future, what it's going to look like, how we're going to use it, because I think that's one of the biggest things. So I speak from my perspective, but I feel like there's just the conversation around how now, especially people who are carers or people that like have like a kid's parents, I feel like also just with the time, maybe maybe you're a single full-time working parent, whatever the situation is, I think that even with the costing of it as it is right now, there's still the opportunity to participate in technology in a way that we couldn't before, that I have personally found extremely empowering, because, you know, it's really lovely as to have something for myself where I can build out something and see it at the end of the day and feel like I've, you know, done something for myself. So I just wanted to end the vlog with that, because I was so excited today that I got this key thing done. And it's been so fun to learn the skills, but also be able to do that because of what AI has allowed me to do with the opportunity of it. And I just wanted to add that in because I know that there's a lot of conversation, and rightly so, and concern around what it's going to look like in the future. But I think that we also have to look at, what it is doing and how we can, like the other things that it's doing, and how we can add to that and how it adds to us and what we want to achieve in our lives. And I know for me, that's been a huge factor. And I think that that's something that, especially people that, who want to do it, especially like someone like myself, who's really like the most time poor I've ever been in my life. And yet I'm building things that I never imagined because of where technology is right now. So I think it's also something like, being aware of how we use it, yes, but then also looking at the opportunities within that as well, and being willing and open to that and knowing that you can do it. And that's why I wanted to share this because, if I'm someone with absolutely no experience who can do this, you can absolutely, like, anybody can do it. Anybody can give it a try. We just have to trust that we are going to learn and be able to, trust ourselves that we can do it, that we should be doing it. This is the great opportunity that we have right now.